Did you know that there is a bird that lives its entire life on the edge of the world, thriving where most land animals would perish? Did you know the kelp goose is one of the few birds on Earth that survives almost exclusively on a diet of slimy, salt-drenched seaweed? Did you know these geese are so specialized for the ocean that they have developed the ability to drink pure seawater without getting dehydrated? Did you know that despite their name, kelp geese are actually more closely related to ducks than they are to the Canada geese you see in parks? Did you know that a male and female kelp goose look so different from one another that early explorers actually thought they were two completely different species? Did you know these birds are so territorial that they will wage fierce battles to defend a single strip of rocky coastline? Did you know the kelp goose thrives in the most violent storms on the planet, often standing unfazed while massive waves crash directly over them? Did you know that while most geese migrate thousands of miles, the kelp goose often stays in the exact same spot for its entire life? Did you know their feathers are so densely packed and waterproof that their skin never actually touches the freezing Antarctic water? Did you know that even though they are masters of the coast, these mysterious birds are rarely ever seen by humans due to the extreme environments they call home? The kelp goose, scientifically known as Chloephaga hybrida, is a uniquely adapted waterfowl species native to the rugged southern tips of South America. You can find them primarily along the rocky shores of southern Chile, Patagonia, Tierra del Fuego, and the isolated Falkland Islands. Unlike many other geese that prefer freshwater lakes or grassy fields, these birds are strictly marine, spending their entire lives tied to the saltwater environment of the coast. One of the most striking features of the kelp goose is the extreme sexual dimorphism between males and females, which is among the most pronounced in the bird world. The adult male is entirely snow white, except for his black beak and bright yellow to orange legs and feet. This stark white plumage makes him incredibly easy to spot against the dark, jagged volcanic rocks of the shoreline. In contrast, the female kelp goose is a master of camouflage, sporting a complex pattern of dark brown and black feathers with white barring on her chest and flanks. She also features a grayish crown and a white ring around her eyes, which helps her blend perfectly into the shadows of the rocky cliffs. This difference is vital for survival, as it allows the female to remain hidden while nesting on the ground. The kelp goose is a specialized herbivore with a diet that is almost entirely restricted to macroalgae, specifically green algae of the genus Ulva, often called sea lettuce. They are also known to eat various types of kelp, which gives them their common name. Because they rely on the tide to expose their food, their daily rhythm is dictated by the moon rather than a strict daylight schedule. To process their salty diet, kelp geese have evolved highly specialized supraorbital glands located near their eyes. These salt glands act like biological desalination plants, filtering excess salt from their bloodstream and excreting it through their nostrils. This incredible adaptation allows them to survive in a habitat where fresh water is virtually non-existent. Their physical build is notably different from migratory geese, as they possess shorter, sturdier legs and a more compact body. This low center of gravity is an evolutionary necessity for maintaining balance on slippery, algae-covered rocks battered by high winds. Their strong, sharp claws also provide a firm grip on the slick surfaces where they spend the majority of their time. While many geese are known for their loud, honking calls, the kelp goose is relatively quiet. The male produces a soft, high-pitched whistling sound, while the female has a lower, deeper cackle or growl. These vocalizations are used primarily for maintaining pair bonds and defending their territory from intruders. Kelp geese are known to be highly sedentary, meaning they do not participate in the massive seasonal migrations typical of other waterfowl. In many cases, a breeding pair will occupy the same small stretch of coastline year-round, defending it fiercely against other geese. This lack of migration is rare for birds living in such high-latitude, cold environments. During the breeding season, which typically begins in October or November, the male becomes exceptionally aggressive. He will stand on a high rock to keep watch over his territory, using his bright white plumage as a signal to other males that the area is occupied. If another male approaches, the resident gander will use his wings and beak to drive the intruder away. The nest is usually a simple depression in the ground, carefully hidden among tall beach grasses or tucked into a crevice between large boulders. The female lines the nest with soft down feathers plucked from her own breast to provide insulation against the biting Antarctic winds. She typically lays between 3 to 7 creamy white eggs per season. Incubation is handled entirely by the female and lasts for approximately 30 days. During this time, the male stays close by, acting as a sentry to protect the female from predators like skuas or caracaras. Because the female must stay on the eggs to keep them warm, she relies on her fat reserves and the male's protection to survive the month-long ordeal. Once the goslings hatch, they are precocial, meaning they are born with their eyes open and are covered in thick down that allows them to leave the nest almost immediately. Within hours of hatching, the parents lead the young down to the shoreline to begin feeding on tender algae. Unlike many birds that feed their young, kelp goose parents simply guide their goslings to the best foraging spots. The goslings face a perilous journey during their first few weeks of life, as they are vulnerable to both aerial predators and the crushing force of the ocean. To protect them, the parents often keep the goslings in nursery areas, shallow tidal pools where the water is calm and food is abundant. Despite these precautions, mortality rates for young kelp geese can be quite high due to the harsh environment. Interestingly, the kelp goose is divided into 2 distinct subspecies based on their geographic location. Chloephaga hybrida is found on the South American mainland, while Chloephaga hybrida malvinarum is exclusive to the Falkland Islands. The Falkland subspecies is generally larger and has slightly different markings, representing thousands of years of isolated evolution. The feathers of the kelp goose are incredibly dense and coated in a special oil produced by the uropygial gland located at the base of the tail. By spreading this oil over their feathers with their beaks, they create a completely waterproof barrier. This allows them to float in freezing water for hours without the cold ever reaching their skin, preventing hypothermia. Kelp geese are often seen in pairs rather than large flocks, reflecting their monogamous nature. They tend to form long-term pair bonds that can last for many years, often until one of the birds passes away. This social structure is beneficial for defending a permanent territory where food resources are limited but stable. Because they live in such remote and rugged areas, kelp geese have few natural terrestrial predators. Their main threats come from the air, specifically from large gulls and giant petrels that scout the coastlines for eggs or young goslings. On the mainland, they must also be wary of the South American gray fox, which occasionally patrols the beaches. Their relationship with the ocean is so deep that they are rarely seen more than a few yards from the high tide mark. Even when they fly, they usually stay low over the water, following the contour of the coast rather than cutting across land. This behavior highlights their total dependence on the marine ecosystem for both safety and sustenance. The bill of the kelp goose is shorter and stronger than that of a typical grazing goose, designed specifically for scraping algae off rocks. The edges of the bill are serrated, acting like small saws to help them grip and tear the tough, slippery sea lettuce. This specialized tool allows them to exploit a food source that very few other birds can utilize. While they are excellent swimmers, kelp geese prefer to forage while walking on the rocks during low tide. They move with a deliberate, slow gait, carefully scanning the crevices for the freshest algae. This energy-efficient method of feeding is crucial for surviving in an environment where the weather can change from calm to a blizzard in a matter of minutes. Climate change and rising sea levels pose a potential long-term threat to the kelp goose by altering the tidal zones where their food grows. Because they are so specialized and have such a restricted range, they are more sensitive to environmental shifts than more generalist bird species. However, as of now, their populations are considered stable due to the extreme remoteness of their habitat. The male's white plumage serves a dual purpose. While it acts as a territorial signal, it may also help him blend into the white sea foam and breaking waves. This crypsis in a dynamic environment shows how evolution has tailored every aspect of their appearance to the crashing surf. From a distance, a resting male kelp goose can easily be mistaken for a patch of snow or a spray of water. In the Falkland Islands, kelp geese are a common sight and have become a symbol of the island's wild, untouched beauty. They are often found sharing the shoreline with penguins and steamer ducks, creating a unique coastal community. Despite the proximity of different species, the kelp goose remains focused on its specific niche of eating green algae. The lifespan of a kelp goose in the wild is estimated to be around 10 to 12 years, though some individuals may live longer in the absence of predators. Their survival depends heavily on the health of the intertidal zone and the continued availability of the specific algae they require. They are a sentinel species, meaning their health can tell scientists a lot about the health of the entire coastal ecosystem. One of the most fascinating behaviors of the kelp goose is their response to extreme weather. During the fierce willy-waws, sudden, violent wind gusts common in the fjords of Chile, the geese will hunker down in the lee of large rocks, using their aerodynamic bodies to stay grounded. Their ability to endure some of the highest wind speeds on Earth is a testament to their physical resilience. While they are not traditionally considered smart in the way crows or parrots are, kelp geese show remarkable spatial memory. They are able to remember the best feeding spots along their territory and the timing of the tides with incredible precision. This ensures they spend the least amount of energy possible to get the maximum amount of nutrition. The kelp goose is a vital part of the nutrient cycle on the rocky shores. By consuming vast amounts of algae and then depositing droppings on the rocks and in the grass, they transfer nutrients from the ocean to the land. This process supports the growth of coastal vegetation and provides nutrients for small invertebrates that live in the shoreline soil. Despite their beauty and unique lifestyle, the kelp goose remains one of the least studied waterfowl in the world. Their preference for inaccessible, storm-battered cliffs makes it difficult for researchers to conduct long-term observations. Much of what we know comes from dedicated wildlife biologists who brave the extreme conditions of the Southern Ocean to document their lives. Watching a kelp goose stand amidst the roaring surf of the Magellan Strait is a reminder of the incredible diversity of life. They have carved out a successful existence in a place where the land and sea are in a constant state of war. Their story is one of specialization, resilience, and the sheer power of nature to adapt to even the most inhospitable environments. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey to the edge of the world to meet the incredible kelp goose. These birds are a true testament to how life finds a way to thrive in the most extreme conditions on our planet. If you enjoyed learning about these masters of the rocky coast, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the world's most fascinating wildlife. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which fact about the kelp goose surprised you the most? Was it their specialized salt filtering glands, or the fact that they look like two different species? We regularly upload new videos exploring the mysteries of the animal kingdom and the secrets of nature's most resilient survivors. Don't stop exploring just yet. Click on the video on your screen now to discover another amazing animal you've probably never heard of. See you in the next adventure.